Welcome to the Bulletproof Cash Flow Podcast, the go-to place to gain financial freedom through real estate investing. Here we interview investors, mentors, and entrepreneurs who share their secrets and advice to help you build passive income. Let's get into the show.
Hey everyone, this is Augustino. Establishing business financing to grow your real estate business is important if you're looking to scale. Relying on your personal credit puts you at some risk, and it also impacts your credit score. So getting business credit to float your business is key. The question is, how do you do it? Well, today's guest has done this for himself and countless others. What's more, he's familiar with real estate. Having flipped and at one time owned 300 rental properties, he knows how to help real estate investors establish these much-needed capital lines. Today, he is the Director of Business Development for Credit Suite, where his focus is teaching business owners how to build business credit not tied to their social security number. He is the author of Business Credit, the complete step-by-step guide. Now, with all that, I'd like to welcome Steve Wible to the show. Hey, man, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Augustino, thanks for having me. You got a great show. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm so glad you're here, man. So before we go on, if you like what Steve has to say, you can reach him via email at steven@creditsuite.com. And if you like our content, don't forget to leave a comment and rate the show. All right, Steve, go ahead and tell listeners about how you got your start in real estate and what led you to what you're doing today.
I will. Let's start off, though, with the Steven must be with a PH, so people don't put VEN and nobody knows where it goes. It's STEPHEN.
Yes. I'll include it in the link in the description.
There you go. Okay, so that's a great question. I got into real estate, and I want to kind of skip through this quickly because your audience doesn't care where I came from. But I sold a printing company. My brother introduced me to real estate, and being somebody who believed in scaling, I looked at what he was doing onesie twosie and said, "Let's make this huge." And I jumped in. And as the business is building, we're buying more and more from different vendors. And you guys all know them: the Home Depots, the Lowe's, whoever. At one time, I was offered credit with one of them. And I said, no, I'm protecting my credit because being a real estate investor, you need to manage your credit, right?
Yeah.
They said, no, we have what's called business credit. We can put it in the business name. Well, my ears perked up. What are you talking about? And they explained that it wouldn't go against me. It would only report on the business credit, blah, blah, blah. So I took advantage. And then I started getting more and more. I started getting vehicle financing. I started getting Visas, MasterCards. Anyhow, all of this happens all by accident, just pure luck. And I took advantage of that by leveraging all that credit and utilizing hard money. I would have them lend me the money to buy the property, lend me the money to fix up the property. But as we all know, they hold it back and they give it to you in a series of draws. I didn't want the draws. I would fix up the property utilizing all that credit and then get one draw for the whole thing. Typically, the number is between 50 and 50,000. I would take that 15 to 50,000, put it in my pocket, put the house up for sale, and then when it's sold, pay off all those credit cards.
Nice.
Now, why is that important? I'm paying a little bit more interest, right? Because I'm paying interest on those credit cards, and I'm also paying interest for the hard money. But now I have cash. And when you have cash, you can go do lots of things. Now I'm buying 5 properties at once, right?
That's right.
So I have deposits for all 5 as opposed to doing 1. And as you scale this, suddenly I was buying 10 properties and then 20 properties. So I was able to do this for a long, long time. Matter of fact, I got so good at it that I could get an estimate to fix a property, let's say for 50,000, the hard money company would agree with that estimate, and then I would get it done for 35.
Nice.
So now I'm making a profit on my draws.
Nice.
Anyhow, so this is great. So as you know, in 2008, everything changed. Now, why that's important with my story is when it changed, I lost everything because fair market rent changed. We talked about that. My rent suddenly went way down. I couldn't sustain it. I was losing way too much per month. And I had to walk away. Not walk away. I ended up making a deal where the tenants got to stay. But all the debt that was in the company name, I didn't pay any of it. Not a penny. And there was lots of it. High 6 figures. I walked away with good credit.
And none of it impacted you at all, right? It insulated you personally from all that debt.
Exactly. Gone. So I moved to Florida, get back in real estate. I was also a real estate agent. But when you're bitten by a snake, you kind of never want to go back in the snake pit again.
Yeah.
I'm showing properties and I'm selling them, and I just don't have that enthusiasm.
Right.
So I found myself, my eyes wandering, and then we ran into a situation where we had a ton of hurricanes that were coming through. And when a hurricane is in what we call the box here in Florida, they don't insure properties, which means no closings happen. Now, as a straight commission salesperson, no closings for 3 months will put you out of business. And that's pretty much what happened. It was between, I think it was like July through October. I didn't have a closing. Hard to live on nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So I'm evacuated because my house was on the Gulf of Mexico. I get evacuated. I'm hanging out at my Marine Corps buddy's house. He let me come stay. And I'm looking on a laptop and I find my first job. I'm looking for a job at 53 years old. And I see this company, Credit Suite. And I do some research and I find out they teach exactly what I learned the hard way. And it took me a long time to get there, years. So I interviewed with them. Naturally, with all my talent, they said, nope. And they didn't hire me. 3 months later or 2 months later, they called me back. I guess whoever they did hire didn't work out. And here I am a few years later.
Right.
But the point is, I got in here and I didn't realize how little I knew. This had worked for me and I knew nothing. It's way more scalable. As a matter of fact, what I didn't realize is that 99% of business owners get turned down for loans, not because they're not qualified, but because they're not set up properly, because they have credibility issues with lenders. Lenders have a series of checklists to make sure that you're not committing fraud, that you're not applying fraudulently.
Interesting.
Yeah, and most people don't realize that. It's their only real defense against fraudulent applications. Because let's be honest, where do most applications happen? Online. So they have these, I'll call them fences that you have to get through. And it's all based on how your business looks to them. If you don't mind, I'd like to dive into that just a little bit because I think your audience can really learn something here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So they've got these credibility checks, and I'm not going to dive into all of them deeply, but I'll start with the first one. The first one we're going to talk about is your phone number. All right, so as a business owner, you need to have a business phone. Now, if I ask most business owners what their phone number is or give me your phone number, they're going to give me what?
Their cell phone.
Exactly, because it's all attached to our hips, right?
Right.
Here's the problem with that. There's a little directory out there called the National 411 database. Now, if you're old enough to remember, I know I am, and I'm not sure if you are, but I used to pick up the phone and dial 411 to get Joe's Pizza down the street.
That's right.
What most people don't realize is that still exists today. Now, I know we get it on our phone, but there actually is a National Business 411 directory. You need to be listed with them in order for you to be considered a legitimate business. It's free, but you need to be listed. The first thing that banks check is that directory. Guess what they won't list? A cell phone. They will only list a landline or something called a virtual phone number.
Right.
Are you familiar with a virtual phone number?
Yeah, it's like a voice over IP type scenario, right?
You got it. Now, I like to say this. Everybody knows what Google Voice is, right?
Yeah.
Just about everybody knows. That's the right street, wrong direction. So
Yep.
That is a virtual phone number, but they own it. You don't.
That's right. And they can pull it anytime they want as well. They can kill that number and it doesn't belong to you anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. So what I recommend that your listeners do if they don't have a business phone number is go to a company like RingCentral. You go to ringcentral.com or even Grasshopper. But if you're going to go to one of these virtual phone numbers, ask them, can this number be listed with the National 411 database?
Yeah.
Because that's the very first check. And if you fail, you're done, denied. And by the way, in the commercial world, in the business credit world, it's unlike the personal credit world where they have to explain why they denied you. They have to send you that letter that we talked about, that pop-up.
Yeah.
In the business world, it's you're denied, no questions. We're not going to answer any questions. We're not obligated, nor do we want to tell you why. You're just denied. Well, there's the first one. I actually had a client that got turned down for 4 different loans. We corrected their phone number issue, and they've built up over $1 million in credit since. It was just a phone number. Can you imagine?
That's hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, along with the phone number, they really want to see you have a fax number, which I know is antiquated. Nobody uses them today, but banks still use them. So they want to see you have one. They want to see you have an 800 number, if possible.
They want to see a toll free too, huh? Wow. Okay.
Right. They want to see that you're a legitimate business. I mean, think about it. Most businesses, do they not have a toll free number?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's step one. Step one is really the name of the company, and this is where people run into issues. There are what we call high-risk industries. Unfortunately, we're in one of them, real estate. They consider this high risk.
Isn't that funny? It's a physical asset that's been there for 50, 100 years of its high risk. Yeah.
Right, but internet business, no problem. You could be gone tomorrow, but hey, we consider you solid. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get funding in the real estate business. It just means don't call it out. So don't name your company Bob's Real Estate Flipping Formula.
Right.
Call it, Bob's, whatever investments. Like I like to say, look out back and see what you see. Oak Tree Investments, Oak Tree Enterprises is actually even better, right?
Yeah.
Who cares from an advertising point of view? You can always have a subdivision or a doing business as
DBA. Yeah.
a DBA. So If you haven't already named your business, you're thinking about starting an LLC, and I had 50 of them. I would start one for every block of 5 properties. Have a new LLC. You want to make sure you don't call out what you do. Don't wave a red flag on purpose. Okay? If it's not important to you, then make it as vanilla as possible.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got that. We've got the number. This is my favorite. So if I ask you for your email address, what's your email address?
My personal email address?
No, your business email address.
Business email address. This is just my initials at realtydynamics.co.
Perfect. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and ours would be info@creditsuite.com or steven@creditsuite.com. Here's what I see from 90% of the real estate investors I talk to. Steve buys homes at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Or better yet, partydude2000@yahoo.com. I cannot believe people will put that on a credit application.
That's hilarious.
But I see it. I see it all the time. So to a bank, I mean, look at it this way. If you reverse it, if Walmart came to you and wanted credit for whatever product you were selling, and on the application, it had the purchasing agent's cell phone, it had his personal Gmail address, no 800 number, no fax, what would you think? This is fraudulent.
Yeah, exactly.
This is fraudulent. There's no way this guy works for Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, that's how banks look at your application. So they want to see it set up like a real business. And by the way, Walmart is the #1 purveyor of business credit. They built their entire business on business credit. Everything you buy off their shelf, they haven't paid for yet. They're going to pay later. It's an unbelievable business. What a business, right?
That's right.
All right. So we've covered the email, we've covered the phone number, we've covered the name. And by the way, included with the email should be a website. Do not be in business without a website in 2019.
Yeah. Got to have a website.
Because you're not in business as far as they're concerned.
That's right.
The other thing would be bank account. Make sure your bank, everything runs through a business bank account. And, address. That was the other one. I know real estate investors famously want to use P.O. boxes for everything, especially with tenants. And I get why. I had a tenant show up at my house one time. So I get why.
And not to bring you a cake.
Yeah, no. I had a gun, as a matter of fact. On a 10-acre property with gates and guard dogs, but whatever. But anyhow, so I get not wanting to give out an address. However, from a lending point of view, there are only 3 passing grades in the lending world, in the commercial lending world. A would be a commercial building, which I ended up having. I had a commercial building. One of my properties I bought, I turned into a property management company that was my commercial building. The second, B, would be a virtual office. Now, you've all heard of Regis and basically shared office space. Okay. The third would be your home. I don't recommend your home because business credit reports are available to anyone. Anyone can download them. And on your business credit report is a photo of your office, which means your house.
That's right.
So you don't want to use your home if you can help it. I get it. I started my business in my home. In today's internet age, they can find that information in 3 seconds.
Exactly.
So we want to make sure you use either a commercial building, a virtual office, or your home. Now, what I didn't say was a P.O. box. What I didn't say was a UPS box. What I didn't say was Cousin Joey's grocery store has a back office. I'm using that. So if you use any of those items, you're going to be automatically denied.
Yeah.
Again, they're looking for fraud. P.O. box feels fraudulent to a lender.
That's right. Because it's temporary.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody can get one of those.
You can be gone tomorrow.
Yeah. That's right.
So they're the main items that I see, and it's amazing how much better it goes for our clients when they correct these items. Suddenly they're getting approved like that, and they're like, "Wow, I've been turned down 20 times. Suddenly I'm getting 17 approvals in a row." Now, business credit is not what people think. Look, when I mention business credit, everybody immediately says, "Oh, credit lines. I want credit lines." Well, you don't necessarily need credit lines. Did I mention credit lines even once in my story?
No,
I did. I used other people's money, but it didn't have to be a cash line. Now I did. I used hard money, but business credit is credit that you get in the business name that'll eventually build up to cash credit. There's a series of steps you need to take, and you need to have so many items reporting. As a matter of fact, talk about reporting. Just like we have TransUnion, Experian, Equifax for our personal credit, there are also, there's multiple, but the main would be Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. They're your 3 business credit reporting agencies. The 2 that are most important are Experian and Dun & Bradstreet. Most people, I'm guessing in your audience, don't have a Dun & Bradstreet number, a DUNS number.
Right.
So if you don't have a DUNS number, go get it. So Dun & Bradstreet will give you your number for free. They are required by law to give you that number for free. They're the only game in town. So you can go to dnb.com. That's D, the letter D, add the word and then b.com. Now, I know I'm doing free advertising for them, but they have to give you the number. I will warn your audience. If you're going to start a telemarketing company, hire everybody from Dun & Bradstreet because they're the best. They're going to blow your phone up and they're going to convince you the sky is falling, the world's going to end if you don't pay them. They'll start at $1997 and work their way down to $497. And eventually they'll give in, give up, and just give you your number for free. They're going to try and convince you that without their services, you'll never be able to get credit. It's completely untrue. I get it. They have to monetize what they do because they're required to give it away, but don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. Okay, I know many people who have, and the problem is you're building business credit on one report, but what happens if I want to lend you money and I check your Experian business credit report and it says nothing?
Exactly.
So you need to do it organically. And there's a way to do it. I'm going to give you one more free piece of information at the very end. You let me know when we're done. I'm going to give your listeners a place where they can go get a proof of credit tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Good.
How's that?
Good. Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's awesome. They're gonna love that. They're gonna love that.
And that's just the start. Now, the way business credit works, which is cool, as opposed to with personal credit. Look, when you get approved for your first credit card when you were 18, 19, 20 years old, it was probably $500, $300. It might have been a furniture store. And it took years for you to get to a mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? You had to work up to that. You had to prove your worth. What's cool about business credit is, one, the limits are way higher. Way, way, way higher. And it's very fast. Even one trade line, can take your recommended credit limit from $1,000 to $2,500, and that trade line could be under $100.
Oh wow, nice.
Even one. When you start adding more and more, you'll see the number will go from $2,500 to $12,000 to $25,000, recommended for $700,000. The number just grows and grows and grows. Here's why: as a business owner, you consume a lot.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. How many people would spend $50,000 with Home Depot on their own as an individual? Very few. But as a real estate investor, you could do that monthly.
That's right.
Right?
Oh, you do it all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Even in our business, we do it. Sure.
Right. I mean, think about truck drivers. If I got a gas card for myself today, $500 limit be plenty for me. But a truck driver needs $10,000 to $50,000 limits.
Right.
And they get them.
For all the fuel they're doing.
Exactly. So that's what I love about business credit. Like, I'm amazed at people who run their business as a sole prop. They're screwing themselves twice.
Yeah.
One, all the liability, but two, they can't build credit big enough because it's all tied to them personally.
That's right.
So that's what's beautiful about business credit. It's not just that it's quick. It's actually easy if you know what order to do it in and you know the underwriting criteria. And the numbers are just astronomical. We've had people build over $1 million in business credit. None of it tied to them personally. No credit check ever.
Wow. I mean, it sounds to me, though, that if you do it correctly, you can actually use that instead of getting hard money to buy houses, right? I mean, you can buy them on credit, conceivably, right?
Yes, conceivably. I will tell you this, that whenever we're dealing with real estate, anything like that as an asset, they're going to look at you personally. They're going to look at you.
Okay.
I don't know if hard money companies are looking at you personally, but they never looked at me because as long as the deal was good, the deal was good. And it never reported on you personally anyway. I will tell you, with real estate, it's very difficult to get to a certain level. Like, I bought a 187-unit apartment complex. We did it through tax credits. Nothing was tied to me personally, but there was a lot. It took a year and a half to close that deal.
Oh, wow.
You're talking about floating bonds. I mean, there was just a lot involved. But in your day-to-day multifamily, they're going to look at you personally.
Right.
All right. Hard money, they're still going to look at you a little bit. But look, we're not saying that this is a replacement for good credit. It's not. What this is something that enhances your credit. In other words, use your credit when you need it sparingly. Use the business credit for everything else. Look, if you get in your car, and I'm going to bet, if you have 10,000 listeners, 9,995 of them are getting in their car that's in their name, putting their gas in, and driving to go look at a property. Why wouldn't you have that car in the company name, the gas card in the company name, all expenses paid by the company, so you could, one, write it off. A lot easier to write off something in the company name than it is in your personal name. Because now it's like, well, what percentage was used for business? What was used for personal? No, it's in the company name. It's a company car. Doesn't that make sense?
It does, absolutely.
Most business owners don't realize they can get a vehicle in the company name. They don't even pull your personal credit. How many of your listeners want a new car?
Right. But is there any tie at all to the personal side? I mean, you can't just
None.
roll into... So I can roll into the Cadillac dealership up the street and just say, I want to slam this into my...
Theoretically, yes. However, there's only certain companies that will fund it. I will tell you now, Ford is one, and Ally Financial is another one.
Okay.
But they're going to look at your business credit report and they're going to want to make sure you have between 10 and 15 trade lines reporting. You have at least a high limit of 10,000 with somebody, and then you're going to get approved. And I'll tell you, you can get high limits with, I'm going to list off people that will give business credit really quick, just so your listeners understand.
Yeah.
Apple, I see anywhere approvals from 7,500 to 50,000. How about Amazon? What can you not buy on Amazon?
Right.
Right. I've seen limits as high as 75,000 on Amazon in the business name. So if you're rehabbing a property, can't you buy everything you need on Amazon?
Yeah.
See where I'm going with this?
Exactly. Sure.
Every major store offers business credit. Every single one of them. Saks Fifth Avenue offers business credit. I had a girl call me up super excited. She was an accountant. She had built business credit. And she's like, I just got approved at Saks. I'm like, we don't refer Saks. She goes, I don't care. I applied and they approved me. I said, well, how much of that are you going to use for business? She goes, none. It's all for me. But my point is that every major store. So without giving away the secret sauce here, because we teach this every day,
yeah,
this is a game changer, an absolute game changer, especially in the real estate business. I'm always amazed at how many times real estate investors will just use their personal credit like it's candy.
Yeah.
Just sign it for everything. And then we talked about it. That dream deal shows up. It's the perfect deal. Oh, my credit score is down this month because my utilization is at 95%. And I'm only a 550 now instead of a 700.
That's exactly what happens. At our live events, we'll get these flippers. They'll come out. They want to do multifamily, but they show up. That's one of the biggest issues they have is their credit is down in the dumps. And that's the thing, though. It's not even in reality because they have the asset that's going to eventually pay it off. But for the immediate term, yeah, they're at 95% utilization. It's totally just about maxed out, and they can't get any other credit.
But they're on pause. They're basically, you're out of business until this deal sells. Now, God forbid it sits for 6 months.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what happens. And that's what made this so attractive to me when I saw this opportunity. I said, this is my first job. I'm 53. It's my very first job where I work for somebody because I found this is so important that everyone needs to know this. And look, this isn't a secret. It's not like these companies are hiding it from you. Actually, they are hiding it, but they're not against you using it. Just the big companies have been doing it for years. All us little guys didn't know about it. Nobody educated. Did anybody teach you this in school? I didn't know about business credit. Had my rep at Home Depot not told me about it, I'd have never found out. I'd have never found out.
You know, and I think half the time, many of those guys don't even know, or they wouldn't even think to sell it to you. They actually referred us to the pro desk, right? So now we have a pro account, but that's about it. Nobody even mentioned that at Home Depot.
Matter of fact, I'll give you a quick story. One of the companies where you can get credit is Sam's Club. We all know who Sam's Club is. It's Walmart.
Sure.
Well, they have a real MasterCard you can get in the company name, a real traveling MasterCard. You can use it anywhere. I had a client apply there. The girl at the desk said, we need your social. He said, no, you don't. Run it the way it is. She said, no, I do. He said, no, you don't. Run it the way it is. Call your bank. I already know who your bank is because we give them all the underwriting criteria. Calls them up. The person on the other end says, no, we need the social. He said, get your manager. Manager comes back, says, yeah, we can run it this way. We don't need your social. They ran it, gets approved for $35,000. The girl on the phone is furious. The girl at the front desk is furious because neither one of them knew about it. And one of them worked for the bank.
Right.
That's how tight a secret they keep this. Here's why. When I lay a credit application in front of you and you see that blank SSN, what's your natural instinct?
Well, you don't have one. You're illegal or you're trying to evade or something. Something's wrong with you.
I'm saying if I put a credit application in front of you and you're filling out the information and then you hit the blank spot where it says social security number, you fill it in.
Oh, sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's what we've been taught to do our whole life.
Yeah.
They know that. The banks, the lenders, the creditors, they all know that. So they made it so that you just instinctively fill that number in.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Now, I'm not saying ever put a different number in there. Don't put your EIN number in there. Nothing. You leave it blank. It's against the law to put anything other than. But because they know we're instinctively going to do that, they'll never tell you. Because what's better, for your business to have the credit or us to have you over a barrel?
Well, exactly, right. They'd rather have you personally locked down than the business, sure.
But yet, do you think, let's use Walmart, do you think the president of Walmart signs for all their credit?
Yeah, of course not.
Of course not. Do you think the president of Midas Mufflers or what, Wawa Food Markets, they don't personally sign for credit?
Of course.
They understand business credit.
Yeah.
Right? So their CFOs understand it. This is advanced learning, I call it. But yeah, it's available to anyone.
Nice.
Even a startup. If you start your business today, in 6 months, I can have between 10 and 25 trade lines reporting your business credit, and you're going to have tens of thousands of dollars in credit available to you. As high as you want.
Now, what if you're currently in that situation we just talked about where, okay, great. So you're a flipper, you're at 95% utilization right now. Can they still use the coursework that you guys have to get business credit, or does he have to clean all that stuff up first?
We don't care what your credit looks like. You could be a credit criminal. If you've never paid a bill in your life, your business can still build. Look, a business has its own EIN. It's basically its own identity.
Yeah.
It's a different person. The government recognizes a business as an individual. Look, you can build up 5 businesses, have business credit all 5. Now think about this. Connect the dots here. I build 5 businesses and their credit capabilities, and in all 5, I get $20,000 credit limits with Home Depot. How much do I have with Home Depot now?
Yeah, I got $100,000 right there.
I got $100,000.
Yeah.
So when I talk to real estate investors, I'm like, what are you, crazy? Start a business, an LLC, build the business credit, start another one, do it again, start another one, do it again, do it again. Because what happens is they also double your limits. They just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So that 50 could turn into 100, could turn into 200, could turn into 300.
That's awesome.
It really is.
Now, what do interest rates or anything else like that look like?
Well, we don't generally talk about that because everybody's different. I mean,
Yeah.
Home Depot charges one rate. But look, you're going to get the best rates if you have great business. It's just like personal credit.
Yeah.
You have great business credit, you're going to get a better rate than you would if you have bad business credit. Matter of fact, you won't even get approved. What's really cool about business credit is utilization has 0 effect on your score.
That's beautiful right there.
0 effect. Here's what your business credit score is based on strictly: how you pay your bills. Do you pay on time? You're an 80. Do you pay a little late? You're a 78, 79. If you pay early, you're between 80 and 100. So 78, 79, still fundable, not a problem. Because they understand businesses run into cash flow issues.
Right.
Experian business takes, I think, 1% for utilization. 1%, as opposed to personal credit, which is 35%.
Oh my God.
So it's almost negligible.
Right.
So you can max out. As a matter of fact, I recommend people max out their credit. In other words, use it. Because if you use it, guess what the next creditor wants to do? They want to give you more.
That's right.
Think about it this way. I'm a truck driver. I pick on them a lot because it's pretty easy. It makes sense to people. I have a $5,000 credit line with Sunoco, let's say, Shell, whoever. And then I apply for mobile. And they pull my business credit report and they see $5,000 and they see I'm maxing it constantly. Guess what they're going to offer me? $20,000. They want that business. They want me to get away from Sunoco and go to mobile.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say Dell has given me $15,000 in credit and I apply at Apple. Guess what they're going to give me?
Well, they give you 20.
You got it. So you have to look at this not from a consumer point of view, because we've been trained our whole life to look at it that way, that we're begging for something, right? When we apply for credit, we apply for a mortgage, we're stressed out the whole time. We're begging.
Yeah, they're doing you a favor.
Yeah, by charging me $300,000 in interest over the next 30 years.
That's right.
So we have that mentality, I got to pay off my car. I got to pay, like, thank you. I was approved for my vehicle today. In the business world, they want to do business with you.
Yeah.
Right? They want to do business. Look, when I had my printing company, every paper company in the country was calling on me. And then they say, well, we have to run your credit report. And I would laugh. I'm like, good luck. I buy $12 million of paper a year. I'll just go back to the guy I'm with.
Right. That's right.
They want my business. Just like when I called on Blue Cross Blue Shield and AOL, believe it or not, back in the day, they wanted terms. I gave it to them. So you have to twist your mentality around and look at it as they want to do business with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this is amazing stuff. And the key thing though is that for anybody listening out there can actually do it. You don't need to have any special type of degree or anything else like that. Anybody who's in this business right now, whether you're doing single family flips and you're looking to aspire to multifamily, or you're currently into multifamily today and you have to float some certain what you just discussed earlier, the pulling that draw, right? So maybe you got a bridge or something like that. Instead of pulling it from rents, build up your business line, right? And start cranking that up as well. Absolutely. Anybody can do it.
Exactly. And I'll give you a cash story because I know everybody out there is thinking, yeah, this sounds great, but what about cash?
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 stories. One, I had a client who actually became a partner of ours. We have white label partner program. He built his business credit and he really didn't do anything with the partner program, but he applied for an SBA loan, an SBA Express. And he had a tiny little ice cream shop and a fruit stand. I mean, we're not talking Walmart here, right?
Right.
Revenue was okay. His credit was okay. So he applies for an SBA Express, gets $100,000 instant approval. Instant approval. So he goes to closing 30 days later, whatever it was. And the loan officer says, I have to ask you a question. I've never seen an $100,000 instant approval ever. I look at your revenue, doesn't make sense. I look at your personal credit, doesn't make sense. How did you get a $100,000 instant approval? He said, your underwriter checked my business credit. So what are you talking about? This is a loan officer. So he showed her and she went, oh my God, you got to teach me this. I need to teach this to all my clients, because the first thing they looked at was your business credit report.
Yeah,
You got an instant approval for 100 grand. So there's real cash,
that's right.
right? Second thing I'm going to tell your listeners is, if you have good personal credit, and I'm assuming you do, so I'm going to pick on you because you're the one I'm looking at right now.
Right.
I'm going to guess you go out to your mailbox, and if not daily, at least 3 times a week, there's an offer for a loan or a credit card in your mailbox.
Sure.
Right now,
Yeah.
how do they know to send it to you and not your neighbor?
How's my name on it?
Well, how do they know to send that offer to you though and not your neighbor? Or
Well, yeah, they do a soft inquiry or something.
right.
Like
Well,
that.
no, what they do is they buy. That's close. They buy these lists because look, these companies, these credit report agencies are nothing more than data whores.
Right.
I mean, they basically sell our data without giving out personal information. Right. So I have a Visa card, and my job is to get more subscribers to this Visa card. I'm going to go to Experian and say, give me 100,000 names, credit score of 680 and above in these 10 zip codes. Right.
And just hand them a list. Yeah.
And they just give me the list and I mail them. Now, don't you think commercial lenders operate exactly the same way?
Sure. Makes sense.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
So what happens is your data is public. It's free to get. Your business credit report, not free to get, but it's available. I don't have to have you sign off on it to check your business credit report. And these lenders, commercial lenders, will buy these lists from Dun & Bradstreet, from Experian, and then suddenly the money starts chasing you.
Nice.
So instead of you chasing the money chases you. I had someone that applied for a $9,000 loan with us, which I found ridiculous, get denied. Her credit was a wreck, build her business credit, and now her biggest complaint is she has too many offers for loans. Can you imagine that? I bet there's not one real estate investor out there that says, oh, no, I don't want any more money.
Right. Stop with the cash. You don't want any money.
You're killing me here.
Right.
So anyway, I just wanted your listeners, because we talk about business credit. Business credit really is credit that goes in the company name, and it's for stores and cars and MasterCards and Visas, but it grows from there.
Right.
So you're not going to get a loan tomorrow. You go through our program, you're not going to get a loan the next day. However, it just keeps growing as you grow. So it really does have an impact on you. And more importantly, your personal credit's not being affected at all, 0%.
And that in itself is huge especially for any listeners out there. That's going to be huge right there.
Exactly. So if anybody wants any more information, they can go to our YouTube channel, or they can go to creditsuite.com. Check us out. We have a great program, and we do these type of things all the time. And I'm happy to come back on again and dive deeper if you'd like. But
sure,
this is something every real estate investor needs to do. Not because we're selling it. I don't care. They need to do this.
Yeah, this is a must. Yeah, they got to do this. And in your program, it's all like video, or how's it delivered?
Actually, what's cool about it is it's an interactive paint by numbers.
Okay.
Almost, right? So you not only know where to go next, we give you the underwriting criteria, and then you have a whole team of advisors that work with you for a year. We don't limit the number of phone calls. Matter of fact, they call you 5 times in the first 5 days just to make sure you're engaged.
Oh, wow.
And we hold your hand through the entire process.
Nice.
In addition to videos and all that's there as backup. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you don't want to talk to anybody, you can certainly do that. Just follow the step. If you're somebody who really wants more interaction, you get that too.
Nice. That's awesome. This is just amazing stuff.
Yep.
What do you think the next 5 years looks like for your business? How do you think that things are going to continue? I know you already went through the one recession. It was terrible. People keep talking about the next recession coming up. What are your general thoughts, not only about when it's coming, but also how something like this can actually help out someone?
Well, here's the deal. Look, I'm watching real estate, and of course, I'm very interested in it because of how many flips I've done being a real estate agent. And I'm looking at the numbers going, all right, this isn't sustainable.
Right.
We're back to right where we were. The good news is we're not giving loans to people with just a pulse like we used to. However, we can't sustain this growth. It has to come back, has to retrace a little bit. And I think all businesses, we're going to end up in a recession. Look through the history of our country. Whenever there's a boom, there's a recession. So we're going to get one. And I'm not saying it has anything to do with the current administration or even the next administration or even the past administration. It's just cyclical.
Yeah.
What goes up must come down. So if you know it's definitely going to happen, and it is, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you protect yourself? Look, we expect our company, right now we're a $15 million company, not huge, not counting our lending. We also do loans too, but just the education side. We're going to be at 100 million. We already know it. We should be at $1 billion because every business owner should be doing this. You need to protect your family and your assets. Look, we all have our why we do things, right? I got into real estate because I had nothing to do, but I also wanted to help my family. People get into real estate because they want to eliminate their job eventually, or they want to make sure their retirement's secure, right?
Yeah.
So we all have our why, but we don't protect our why. We sign on the dotted line for everything, and then we expose ourselves. And I got exposed on a lot of stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I learned a lot, but I didn't know enough.
Yeah.
I didn't know enough.
But the thing is, though, and this is actually huge, because when that recession does hit, if you happen to be carrying all that load, again, your hands are going to be tied. You won't be able to take down any more deals because you're sitting on all this debt, and you won't be able to take advantage of what the recession is going to bring. I mean, good or bad, some people are rooting for a recession because they think everything's going to be on sale, right? And they just want to go in and start scooping up deals. Like, I don't think it's going to be that easy, honestly.
Me either.
I've been through it already. It's never that easy, because trying to get the financing for things is going to be hard enough as it is. But making sure you're positioned properly to take advantage of all that is going to be critical. It's going to be crazy.
Well, and that's the key. Look, I wish, wishes were dreams. I had sold everything 2 years earlier, taken all that cash, moved to Florida, and bought everything that was on sale. Because I'm looking at properties for my wife and I for $400, and I could have bought them for $150 8 years ago.
Sure.
And I just want to shoot myself in the head. But look, I was halfway prepared for what happened. I wasn't all the way prepared because I didn't know all the information. That's why coming to work here was such a big deal to me. Now I know the real deal.
Yeah.
And if your listeners want to protect themselves, they need to reach out. If not us, somebody. They need to find this out. And look, you can Google a lot of this information. The difference is what we can help you do in 6 to 9 months, it will take you between 3 and 5 years on your own.
Right.
And then the question is, do we have 3 to 5 years before the next turn?
And that's the thing, though, too. I really don't think there is. I don't think we have 5 years. I honestly don't think so.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. No, this is going to be a big thing. Yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, if you want to reach out to Steve, you can hit him up via email at steven@creditsuite.com. I'll include a link in the description as well. Don't forget to check out his book. I'll put a link to that as well. So I hope you got a lot of great insight on business credit. It's absolutely huge. Everyone out there listening has got to do it. It's a must do. Definitely check out the website, the creditsuite.com. It sounds to me like you got to do it. This is something that's really going to protect your why, as Steve said. All right, man. Thanks so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Augustino. Have me on anytime. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, man.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the Bulletproof Cash Flow podcast. For more free podcasts, articles, videos, and resources, go to www.bulletproofcashflow.com.